Today we're going to look at getting more thump from your kicks and more punch from your bass sounds. Let's have a listen to the default kick we will be working with. Yeah, it sounds okay. Let's put the bass in. The only tools we will be working with today are Fruity Parametric EQ and Fruity Limiter. I've loaded one of each on the kick channel and the same on the bass channel. Let's start with the EQ on the kick. I'm going to scoop out the mid frequencies. This will have the effect of making the bass and high end sound relatively louder than the mids. The reason you want this high end is that it cuts through the mix and lets the ear know where the start of each beat is. Let's put that back in context with the bass. Now in the bass I can hear a resonant sound. So on the bass track I have another Fruity Parametric EQ and limiter. I'll start by rolling off this really low bass. That just tends to muddy the mix. It's useful to move the cutoff up and down the scale until you can definitely hear the effect. Then just back off a little. I'm also lucky here I can see that resonant frequency I could hear around 120 Hz. I'm just going to cut that back to give a little more room for the kick. Okay, so that's some rough EQ. Let's hear the before and after. So it sounds a bit deeper and rounder now. So that's EQ. What about compression? On the kick, I'm going to select the compressor and lower the threshold to about halfway up the kick envelope. Then set the compression ratio to about 4:1. Anything above 2:1 should be effective. Now I'm going to use the gain knob to restore the lost volume. Let's hear the before and after. So there's some thump. One of the other tricks people use is to layer the kick with a hi-hat or snare sound, just to help the top end cut through the mix and accentuate the beat. Just a little's needed. Finally, I'm going to sidechain the kick to the bass track's compressor and cut the bass level for each bass that falls on or over a beat. It will drop mainly on the bass note here and a little on this one. This helps the kick to cut through. Time for a before and after. Now, we're playing loudness wars here, so it's not always the best thing to do to your tracks. But I just wanted to show you some principles, and they are 1. Cutting the mid frequencies from kicks and adding some compression. 2. Cutting the low frequencies from bass and sculpting their sound to match the kick. 3. Sidechain the kick to the bass to drop the bass on each beat. All these are part of making a currently fashionable, loud and punchy sound. But as we know, fashions change. One thing you didn't see me doing was grabbing the EQ and drastically boosting anything. You should only ever cut drastically, and if you're boosting, only a few dB here and there. Until next time, enjoy making some thumping beats.